Welcome to the Geekatorium podcast. It is Monday the 24th of August as we record this. It's been a while, but we're back and we are going to be talking about, very briefly, Ted Lasso, because it's just something that we both love. The main things we're going to be discussing, though, are X-Men 97 and its finale, and the last 3 episodes of Strange New Worlds, which has gotten very strange indeed. All of that is coming up on the Geekatorium podcast. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you doing? Are you okay?
I'm good. Yeah, no, I'm fine. You know, we're doing a record against a backdrop of people revving their engines. So if that bleeds through, I am very, very sorry. But it has been a while, which means we've got a lot to talk about. So
we do have a lot to catch up with. I mean, yeah, this podcast is going to be as long as the Odyssey.
Which you've seen and I haven't seen. So.
I have seen it. It's good. Listen, it won't. It's going to win all the Oscars.
Right.
It's going to win all the Oscars. Matt Damon, he's going to get an Oscar. Tom Holland, I think he'll get a nomination. I don't think he'll get an Oscar, but he'll get a nomination, and I'm proud of him. Well done him.
Well done, Tom.
Well done, Tom.
You've been in 2 of the biggest movies this year, and you're married to Zendaya. Well done, Tom.
I watched another one of her movies actually recently. I recommend this one, The Drama. Oh my God, watch that. That's
wait. Are you describing the movie or is it called?
It's called The Drama. It is literally called The Drama, and it's. I won't say it's not bonkers, but it is like, oh my God, it's tense watch. It's a very tense watch.
Okay. Well,
do watch it.
I will check it out. But I think we should dive in and talk about some of the stuff that we have been watching together. The first one is, we're going to very briefly talk about it. This is one that, we talked about it in the lockdowns when we started doing the podcast together. And it's something that we both very much enjoy. And yes, it is slightly out of theme of the Geekatorium, but I feel like it's our podcast. We can do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I made a point of we're going to talk Bake Off.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh
my word, I remember that.
I had a whole speech.
Yeah, amazing. But Ted Lasso is back. We've got season 4 of Ted Lasso. Now, we haven't talked about it. Have we talked about it?
We haven't talked about any episodes of this new season. We're 3 episodes in now.
Of course, yeah. So how do you feel about it? 3 episodes in.
I liked the 3rd episode the best. I felt like that was hitting stride more.
Right.
First one was fine. It was sort of resetting up everything, and that's all good. It made sense, and it was sweet and okay, yeah. It was sort of what you wanted the reconnection of those characters to be. But the 2nd episode, it's not that I didn't like it, but I got. Remember season 4, season 5, and season 6 and season 7 of Scrubs?
Yeah.
When every character became an over-exaggerated version of themselves.
Oh, yes.
I kind of felt like Rebecca's character was kind of being that way. Okay. I really wasn't liking her in episode 2. Just not that she was doing anything bad. I just thought she was over the top.
Okay. Yeah.
Too much over the top for what her character had laid down in previous seasons.
Yeah.
It felt too much. Same with the new girl, the coach lady. I forget her name. She's great, and again, better in the 3rd episode. But it's just a bit like, okay, we get it. You hate everyone. Okay, you're female Roy Kent. I see what you're setting up here. Oh, she's starting to warm to Ted already after 1 episode. Great, but it was a bit forced.
Okay.
And one criticism that I'd read, and I'll let you speak in a minute, Rick, don't worry. One criticism that I read, and I heartily agree with, is they've got the culture of women's football wrong, because they're treating it like people don't like it. And people do like it. People do like it a hell of a lot more than the episodes have been letting on. I think there are more people like those 3 lads. I think they'd be into the women's football team if they were real people. The 3 lads from the original season from the pub. Right. I feel like it's again forced, this whole thing of just no one cares about the women's team. No, people do. People do care. The Lionesses won the World Cup. People are into women's football. There is I don't think it's as bad as the show is portraying how women's football is received.
Interesting.
You may speak.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you gave me permission to do that. That's really, really kind of you. I agree wholeheartedly about the first episode was weird. It didn't feel like Ted Lasso, but I think it wasn't supposed to. It was supposed to feel like it was weird. And I mean, it still had some brilliant standout moments, like Higgins going to the Negro League Museum, Baseball League Museum.
Oh yeah, that was very funny.
Brilliant sequence, which was just like, Higgins is the same. Higgins is Higgins. He's fantastic. And then like the whole running joke with Rebecca and the barbecue sauce and everything like that was. I liked that. There was some people complaining. There were people complaining about it, and I was like, it's funny. It's actually genuinely funny. Like it's fine. She's someone who's like, yeah, she's well dressed and well prepared, but suddenly just like, oh, this is actually amazing, and can't help get messy, because if you've eaten ribs, it's part of the experience that you drop barbecue sauce on you. Like it is a thing. So it was like, no, that all makes sense to me. So the first episode was weird, but I think like it was designed to feel weird. Like everything was supposed to feel off. And then I was really glad that they didn't mull over Kansas City. They literally went back to London, and second episode was like, okay, cool, we're back in London. We're just resetting stuff. And I agree that the third episode felt like it was back to what it was. It felt more like an episode of Ted Lasso that belonged in maybe season 3, like midway season 3, maybe not heyday, but doing its thing. And I really enjoyed it. I like the new characters. I love the subversion that Danny Rojas' sister was saying there's more to life than football, and that she wasn't good. Beard getting disappointed by it all. I like the characters that they've introduced, like the goalkeeper. I think there's something.
She's great. Yeah,
she's great. I love her. I'm looking forward to seeing what the storyline is with the single mum who gets brought onto the team.
Yeah, from Andor. That when she was introduced, I was like, oh yeah, she's going to make the team.
Yeah, exactly. They don't bring someone that big to go like, oh no, you're cut. Also, interestingly, him bringing in Shannon, the girl who used to beat him at football on the green, even though she actually didn't pass the trial.
I didn't know whether they acknowledged that was definitely her.
It was her. No, that was her.
It was definitely her. Yeah, no, I was just like, I think that's supposed to be.
No, that was her. That was her.
Yeah.
So I like the team. I like the characters they're introducing. I like that the men's team is literally background noise. Like the most we've seen is Roy at the Manchester ground. Yeah. And the actual point, it doesn't ask about the game. They ask about the men's game. It's about talking about the women's friendly game, and I liked that. Couple of things that I've read. One that I will tell you in a second is a theory that I just love, and I think it's exactly what's going to happen. Well, it is because what's going to happen. It has to be what happens. But the second one, just to go back to sort of your one, because I've read the opposite. I've seen what you've read, but I've actually read the opposite as well, where someone's like, they did consult on this with women's teams and stuff like that. And I agree to an extent, like, women's football is popular amongst, it's getting more popular. And definitely the Premier League teams in the UK, in England, have definitely thrown their money behind it. Like I know in the last couple of seasons, they've moved the women's teams into the into the stadiums. Like, so Arsenal's women's team now play at the Emirates, and Brighton's women's team now play at the Amex and stuff like that. So they're actually playing their games in the same stadium as the men, rather than playing them at essentially second stadiums, smaller stadiums, local stadiums. So there is that, right? And yes, the Lionesses won the World Cup, but think you bringing that up is actually a really good example, because like if you think about like the World Cup that was just played, and England haven't won a World Cup since 1966, and everyone's like, and then there's a lot of people going like, actually, they've just won a World Cup. It was the Women's World Cup. And people are like, well, it doesn't count. It's not the same. It's women's. It's like whilst I think they are egging it up a little bit, there is still stigma around the women's game. There is
I'm not saying there's no stigma, but I just don't feel it's as much as what the show is portraying. But I think, especially amongst shareholders.
I think You'd be surprised. I think only the teams that have thrown money behind it, the big, and these are like Premier League teams. If you go lower than that, I think it's still the same thing. And I think as well with fans, there are still certain subsects of fans that still believe like it's a men's game.
Yeah,
they're not interested in the women's game. And unfortunately, it's think about like I actually think like they did the shareholders meeting really well with a lot of the men leaving, including our 3 of PB and J. That's what I'm I could see them leaving because they only care about the men's team. Why would they care about the women's team? But it was May's emotional speech about it and like how emotional she got about it. And I was just like, this means so much. And I think
so
like
her face when they won, that was she's brilliant.
Brought tears to my eyes. I was just like, this means a lot. And so like, I get what you're saying. And I do get that criticism. I think, yes, they've overplayed it a bit. So they've hyped it up to sort of for dramatic effect to make it more of an underdog thing. But I do think the women's game is not as big as men. Some people are saying there is still a little bit of stigma about it, and there's still a little bit of misogyny around it. So I agree with you to a extent. However, the theory that I've read that I want to share, and I'm sure you've seen this as well, every season. So season 1 started with a shot of Rebecca and finished with a shot of Rebecca. Yeah.
Right.
So the first shot was her, sort of taking over the Greyhounds, and the last shot was when Ted had sprayed sparkling water all over her face.
Yeah. That's what happened.
The second season started with Nate and ended with Nate.
Mm-hmm. Did you know what detail they had though? Is that at the beginning of the season he has light in his eyes, and at the end of the season there's no light in his eyes.
Yeah. So, but then so the first season is really about Rebecca. The second season is really about Nate. The third season started with Ted, finished with Ted. So it was all about Ted.
Yeah.
This season, the first shot was the badge assistant manager. The end of this season, Ted is going to be the assistant manager of the women's team.
You reckon?
Yeah. I reckon he's going to set the culture in place. Absolutely. But if you notice, it's like what I loved as well is like the women's change room happened and he didn't take credit. He was like, no, that was thanks to Keely Jones. Like, and everything he's done has been like, nope, that's someone else done that. Nope, someone else has done that. Like he's not taking the credit for a lot.
I get you. Yeah.
And I think what's going to happen is that he's going to be like, we know who's going to become the manager. It's going to be the one who
nightmare air quotes.
Yeah. She's going to become the manager again, and Ted will step down to become the assistant manager with her. And I think that's how it's going to end the season.
All right. Okay. Well, the only other thing that I would like to say about the Ted Lasso thing, did you see for me, I guess it might just be me, did you see the Quentin Tarantino Easter egg in the first episode of Ted Lasso?
Did it involve feet?
No, but it was when Ted's the manager at and he was assistant manager there. Yeah, I see what you're saying. When he was assistant manager at the grocery store, and they were scanning in cigarettes, and they were Red Apple cigarettes.
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't catch that. That's awesome.
Yeah, they're Red Apple cigarettes, which are exclusively Tarantino brand cigarettes. So
love it.
That's really. I was like, that's fun. That's fun. Well, I mean, completely different.
Yeah. Wait. So now Ted Lasso exists in this. Wait. Because like, there's right. Because the whole thing about like the Quentin Tarantino verse is that there are movies that are the world. So Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, those are the Quentin Tarantino world. And then they go to watch Kill Bill. Like that's a movie they go to watch, and it's like, which is why it's so different. But it's like, it's so Ted Lasso. Is Ted Lasso something that they watch, or is it part of the real world?
No, I think Ted Lasso exists. Like I think like Ted Lasso could have been friends with Mr. Orange. At some point, maybe.
Could you imagine like he's friends with Wolf, with Harvey Keitel's character in Pulp Fiction?
No, maybe that was his dad, and he's only telling people that he killed himself when actually he did a bank heist that went wrong.
Yeah. He's just phoning his dad, so he's going like, Beard's done it again. He's got a body in a car minus a head.
Come on, Beard would exist in a Tarantino film. Beard absolutely exists in a Tarantino film.
Well,
but that means Richmond exists in Tarantino's universe. Can you imagine them visiting the UK and Richmond?
Oh my God. Yep. This is one tasty Sunday roast. Brilliant. Okay. So that's Ted Lasso. We'll continue to watch it. And you know what? We will continue to talk about it because we both love it.
Why not? We enjoyed that.
But something that we're not going to talk about anymore is that we need to finish off X-Men 97 season 2 came to an end.
It did. I particularly liked it, but it seems that some people were really disappointed with that ending.
It was a strange one. I had to watch it twice because I didn't think I was paying attention the first time.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It totally makes sense. No, I really liked it. I really liked how this season built up to it. I absolutely thought it was hilarious, the intro where like Professor X is showing his powers and then it just shows that woman tilting her glasses because that's the best she can do. She's not a mutant, so she's just like, look at me and my smarminess. But I did not realize that the writers from What If were involved in this season. And
I didn't realize that either. That explains.
It really makes sense when you see Gambit Apocalypse at the end. Like that's like that absolutely feels like a What If riff, right there. What if Apocalypse possessed Gambit?
I just didn't. Because we'd spent so long talking about how like he was going to become one of the horsemen of the apocalypse. And
yes, but I did posit the theory that when we saw Apocalypse's dead body, I was like, no, he's in Gambit. He's not dead. He's in Gambit. And that I was correct about.
You were absolutely correct. But I
wasn't expecting that.
Yes. It was. Yeah.
I was not expecting that sort of weird clownish looking Gambit. That was like, it looked a little bit like Gambit being a gollywog. It kind of looked like, do you know what I mean? That kind of really fake makeup.
And with the Creole accent as well, like Cajun accent.
Yes.
So it just doesn't feel right, does it?
It was horrible. I hated it. I hated the look. No, but in a way, what I mean is I hated it because I was meant to hate it. It looked creepy. It looked horrible. Yeah. You're not supposed to go, wow, that's cool. You're supposed to go, oh no, I don't like this at all.
No. It was an interesting sort of way they went about it. Like I obviously, you said you predicted it and you did. I still didn't expect it. Like I still didn't like think it was going to go the way it did. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, okay, right.
Didn't think Cable was going to absolutely execute Gambit as well. No. Just like full blown shot to the face.
It was like they went all out. Like
you couldn't have televised that on Saturday morning TV.
No, there's no
90s.
way. And it felt like it kind of felt like as well, like because I'm pretty sure it has been renewed for another season. But it felt like they were going like, we're not coming back. We'll just kill everything. Like we'll just destroy it all.
Jesus.
Like it was much. It was a bit much. But no, it wasn't.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
It was a lot.
But the gut punch of Nightcrawler at the end.
Oh my God. Right.
It was beautiful and I really just like, oh no.
Based on like what Nightcrawler was going through this season as well, like is with his brother and stuff like that, and like sort of the things that were, it was like, okay, this makes perfect sense that he would do this, like him, for his character and everything he's spoken about. Yeah, the gut punch. I mean, if anything though, like they've just proven like no one's dead. No one's dead. I mean,
yeah, but in this case, it is like celestial intervention. So but then that actually could mean maybe even more. The Celestials would go, actually, you need this guy here, have him, because we met fucked up.
Yeah. Or he's really annoying. Like,
didn't realize that weid have to look after him for a century.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Exactly. Yeah. We keep losing him. He's so small. But no, it was. I love that ending. I did actually love that, and like sort of bring everything back to a degree. Obviously, we've still lost Magneto. He's not. I don't know. Like, It's interesting.
Onslaught is coming. There's the Onslaught is going to come. Which version of Onslaught? I don't know. What else
In this case, it could be any version of Onslaught. Like, honestly, you think it's going to go a certain way. You think this show's going a certain way, and it just goes, no, we're going to go dark. Like, and I think it had to. I think it felt like it could, because the people watching X-Men 97 aren't us when we were 10 years old. Like,
no, true.
It is us now at 40.
yeah. It's basically like the Kevin Smith's He-Man, where it was like a continuation of that cartoon.
Yes.
And that went dark, and that went,
exactly, because it could, because now it's not playing to a kid's audience, it's playing to an adult audience now. It doesn't need to. It could have Cable shooting Gambit in the face.
Shooting Gambit in the face, but it's not the first time he really murdered someone. Like, he did that earlier in the season as well. Like, it's quite brutal. And then the Brood was quite something. The Brood this season was very dark. And Wolverine essentially getting stabbed in the skull, but going, my brains have already been scrambled. All right.
This has been a season. Like,
Danger Room was a scary episode.
Oh my God, Danger Room. Like,
this is not. If I'd watched this when I was like 10, I would have had nightmares. The Simpsons once gave me nightmares, for crying out loud.
I am currently, as you know, I'm watching on my other podcast. I am watching Star Trek Prodigy with Jonah, and we've just watched what is actually me going like, that's a very scary episode. And I'm now looking at that episode and looking back on X-Men 97, going like, oh no, that was tame. That was very very tame.
Did your son turn to you and go, wuss?
It was okay. Wesley Crusher turned up and he's Doctor Who now and he's great.
Oh my God. No, I don't like it.
No, it's amazing. It's genuinely amazing. It's genuinely amazing. But it's X-Men 97. It's I'm sad to see the season. I think the season overall, I really enjoyed it. Like,
I really enjoyed the season. I did really like the ending. I just, as I say, it wasn't as good as the first season.
No.
It didn't have the wow factor.
Yeah. And also, like, it's a weird one as well, because, like, on one hand, I'm like, yay, Gambit's back. But on the other hand, I'm like, let him die. Like, his sacrifice in the first season then becomes a bit null and void. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no. Can I tell you the thing that's actually pissed me off the most about Gambit's return? So strap in for this, because this is something that bothers me about a lot of shows that, not just shows, movies. This happened in Rise of Skywalker as well. But I hate. Right. What was Gambit wearing when he died?
He was wearing a white tuxedo.
Yeah. So why is it that he's come back and he's wearing his regular outfit?
Well, I mean,
No. There is no explanation for this. It reminds me of when Palpatine absorbs Ben and Rey's like life force, and then all of a sudden has this really fancy new cloak and everything, this new like robe, and it's like there is some sort of celestial tailor that brings people's clothes to life. Like, absolutely get to fuck. Like, no, this really bothers me. He should have been in the white tuxedo, and that would have been really cool. It would have looked great. But for some reason, he comes back from the dead and he's wearing his bog standard clothes. I would have been more impressed if they gave him his crop top.
Yeah, I'm picturing it now. Like, with the clown makeup.
Yes. See, isn't that much more of a better show? So that's something that really bothers me. It's just like, what? I don't know. Magic clothes? No, get to fuck.
No. You want if you die in something, there's no possibility that his body got moved and they redressed his body in a time that I
don't think Apocalypse had the time to do that when he salvaged his body from Genosha. It was like, hold on, which one of these was your hotel room? Let me just go find your clothes before we go back to ship. Like, it's like, no.
Do you want this one or this one? Oh, he said it was over here somewhere. Was it the purple one or was it the... The chartreuse one, I don't know.
uh, yeah, that's sorry. I just had to get that off my chest.
There's a very, very specific hill to die on.
That's fine. I'll be here on that hill.
Yep.
Right, the entire time.
It's a well-dressed hill.
Yeah, dressed by actual people, not magic.
To be fair, the one in Rise of Skywalker can do one full stop.
Yes, true.
So like, it's how like no.
Thor's outfit every time. All of a sudden, why does he do magic? And all of a sudden, he has braids in his beard.
To be fair, I mean, they kind of show a little bit of the magic happening there,
you do see it coming together. It's assembling the suit, not
in
creating
Avengers,
the suit.
the first Avengers movie, he picks up the Mjolnir, holds up to the sky, and he actually gets the bits of his armor actually appear on there. So to be fair, I
would say that's him assembling his outfit, not it being created from nothing. I think it's more like it's magic being used. Like he may as well have just been going this, and then this one, and then this one. And he could do it that way.
I mean, I'll give you one. I'll give you one worse. It is impossible for Tony Stark to have the nanotech that he has in Infinity War and be able to carry it around and just appear out of nowhere. Like, it's impossible. It's virtually
he would be like, God, my chest is heavy.
He's literally creating matter out of nothing, which cannot be done.
Yeah, no. Well, it's also like the contradiction of Ant-Man. It's like, no, you shrink down and you're the same strength and the same weight and everything. Oh, but I'm also carrying a tank in my bag.
Yeah. Yeah. Why is it he's still able to punch, but then like the tank is really light? It should be like, why can't you move?
And I'll just have a building on a wheelie bin. That's just a building on wheels. That's fine. I can carry that.
We are getting very nitpicky.
We're so digressed, right?
Things about we love, like Marvel. Get your shit together.
Just saying, hire me as a consultant. I will make it better.
Okay. Well dressed, better dressed.
Yeah, better dressed, or more accurately dressed.
The man who lives in like t-shirt and jeans.
I'm just asking for some continuity. That's all.
I'll tell you what. If we want to talk about continuity, shall we? We talk the big one, the 3 episodes.
Oh my word!
A lot to say about this.
Here's the thing. I don't hate this. So we've got Star Trek: Strange New Worlds to talk about now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked the drunk episode. I liked the black and white episode. Apart from the fact that there's an exact doppelganger to the point where your face can be scanned, and and there's no other reason other than you just have a doppelganger, just deal with it. Okay, fine. Okay, I'll suspend the disbelief to that. Puppets was a bit much. It was fun. It was a very long short. Yeah. What are your thoughts? I feel like you're going to go, oh, it was the best thing I've ever seen.
So Star Trek The Hangover is my least favorite episode of the season so far.
I really liked it. I really liked it.
I thought there was some good bits in it. I like the final third where Ortegas and Scotty become friends and they stop the negotiations and stopping the bomb and stuff like that. I felt very Star Trek as well. Like that felt like that.
It was very TNG. That
felt like something that would happen. I don't know. It just didn't. The thing is, right? It was directed by someone involved from What We Do in the Shadows. And she's worked with Taika Waititi on a bunch of other stuff as an editor and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it did, and like there was one scene in particular, the scene with Chapel playing bingo with basically what were vampires.
Yeah.
And that scene, as soon as that scene happened, I was like, I've seen this before, and it is What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show. And I was like, the whole episode felt very if for me there was 2 parts. One, it felt like What We Do in the Shadows, which makes sense since the director is so heavily involved in it. And the other thing it felt like was, and this is because the writer was a writer from Lower Decks, it felt like Strange New Worlds does Lower Decks. Now, hear me out on this. Like, I know that we've had a Lower Decks crossover episode, but that was the Lower Decks characters coming into Strange New Worlds thing and being their characters within Strange New Worlds. Whereas this episode felt like it was Strange New Worlds trying to be Lower Decks, trying to be what we do in the shadows. And it didn't feel like the characters were being like, my whole thing of like all these, the way that they're doing stuff this season is, are the characters being true to what would happen, what would do, like, you know, are they being true to themselves? And that was the one episode where I was like, just not feeling it. Just not feeling, I don't feel the characters would be like this. And I know the conceit is that they're on a planet that makes you drunk and stuff like that.
I love that concept, by the way.
Yeah, which is fine.
Makes you drunk. I love that concept.
Which is fine, but it just
idea.
It just felt, I don't know. It just didn't bother. The humor didn't quite work with me, except for Una and Klingon power ballads. Like, I enjoyed that because obviously you've not heard Bonnie Tyler until you've heard it in the original Klingon. Like,
very good,
perfect.
Very good.
I loved Mbenga being the bartender, and then having this, and actually then having this moment of like, the reason I'm clumsy is because I can actually relax right now because I'm constantly having to be perfect. And I was like, brilliant. Love that little bit. I was disappointed in Lan's story, like side
that
of it.
She was very what we do in the shadows. That was a very weird one.
And I was like, considering the last episode, the first 2 episodes, and like there's this arc going on with her, it was like, okay, now it's just being reduced to a joke, and I was like, I'm not vibing with it. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. That was my least favorite episode. I'm not saying it's a bad episode. It was just my least favorite.
I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was very sort of Deep Space Nine, but
I mean, listen. We've had episodes where like Picard gets his pecs out on Risa. You know what I mean? Like these like, I'm not against a shore leave episode, you know what I mean? Like it was just it just didn't vibe with me. That was
fair dues.
The noir episode I thought was excellent. I mean, yes, there are some issues. I feel like there'd been like 2 or 3 rewrites and they hadn't quite caught stuff. Like they hadn't really thought the rewrites through.
Why was there an exact doppelganger of Una?
Yeah, exactly.
I just needed one sentence. One sentence would have been fine.
A doppelganger, fine. Being able to pass a facial recognition scan, like,
that's different. That's like
Face ID doesn't do that. Face ID doesn't do that. Like, we've got technology now that doesn't get fooled by like different faces. So I'm with you on that. But I actually thought the episode was very good and actually felt very original series sort of Star Trek.
And the concept of
this is a gangster planet. This is a Nazi planet. This is you know what I mean? Like it.
But it was kind of all of it. It was like a gangster planet. And fascism on the side.
And I thought Core was fantastic. I really loved the actor playing Core, and I loved the way that he was done.
He looked like Tuvix.
Yes, this is fun. Yes, he did look like Tuvix.
I had to look it up because I was like, "Is that the same guy that played Tuvix?" It's not. No.
But you are. But I thought it was brilliantly done, and like it was. I loved seeing this side of the Klingons where it wasn't just brutality. It was like, because you know how like they've always played like the Klingons are just brutal warriors and the Romulans are the conniving ones, and then in this one it was like no the Klingons in this era of Star Trek, in this era of the timeline, they brutally run worlds, but they also have to be Gestapo. They have to be like these people, and it's like I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a really good episode. It was one that I just full stop like. I just thought it was a good episode to start. Like we've seen episodes of Star Trek like this before. Yeah, a couple of writing issues aside, I think it was really good. And then we come to the puppets episode. So,
oh god,
here are my things. Oh, hear me out. So first of all, I don't think it was badly done in terms of like why they became puppets. Right, because
no.
Like we've had Rascals, we've had the Enemy Within, we've had transport accidents, we've had doubles created. Like we've had people.
Thomas Riker, yeah.
We've had people held in pattern buffers. We've had all of these things happen. Like basically, it's the transporter will do what it needs to do to tell the story. Like it's such a like device, like one of these things. So it's fine. And I actually bought the conceit. I was like, oh, so yeah, Scotty's going to play a prank with a puppet on someone else and it goes wrong. And I was like, cool, that actually kind of works for me. You gave me a setup. Then there was okay, so it was quantum whatever. Like they used technobabble to explain that the puppet was caught in the pattern buffer.
It's in Scotty's character to also want to transport something the furthest away. That's sort of within. It doesn't come from nowhere. It is like, no, that makes sense. Yeah,
that all worked, and I thought that was great. I thought because if the actual episode's about Spock. The actual episode is about him and. To Pring's line, are you feeling this way because you're on a chaotic ship, where his hijinks don't let any hijinks happen again, and obviously he's been the last season and a half he's been experimenting with his human side and playing around with that, and so this episode was like, we spoke about it in the last episode or in Griffin, the Griffin incident, that he used logic to tap into sort of being able to pull himself out of the trance on the Griffin so he could see it for what it was. And so like we're starting to see the return of Spock to being the Spock that we see in the original series of logic and trying to be more of deny his human side. And I feel like this episode is like, okay,
reject, I would say. Reject his human
side. So this episode was like, okay, so he's recognized that his human, because he's forgotten that Vulcan holiday and it's chaotic. And I think like using the conceit that he is the only one unaffected and everyone else is a puppet and he has to do everything. He's getting pulled all around the ship. And by nature, Jim Henson's Muppets, because technically they're not Muppets. They're puppets.
They're not.
But they were made by the Jim Henson creature.
They're made by Muppeteers.
They're made by Muppeteers. So Pelia's puppet, by the way, is everything. I need Pelia's puppet in my life.
Yeah, we all do. We all do.
Yeah. And Pike's hair is just phenomenal.
T'Pring was actually really good puppets.
Yeah, all the puppets were really good. All the puppets were amazing, okay?
Ortega still just looked like Ortega.
But the thing is, so like, I thought it was, I get the reason that they use the puppets, because by their nature, if you like the Muppet Show and all the Muppet movies, they are chaotic. They cannot, they're crazy. Everything goes wrong around them. Like, I get why they were used for like this telling the story. I get all of that. And then I liked that because there's no B story in this. It's all A story. This is like one. There's not
the Orions thing is so the B story.
The Orions, yes and no. They're there to introduce a threat of sorts so that they can drive the story forward, so we can have this moment where the puppet crew go like, oh, we just have to be puppets to actually do something, and Spock has to have his moment of like, I can do this by being. Anyway, I like the Orions, but they were a more comedic version of the Orions than we've seen. I feel like
Detective Boyle as an Orion.
Yeah. So I was gonna. So you had the two main actors behind. So it's Rachel Harris, I think, is one.
Yeah, she's from Lucifer.
Yeah, so she's
in Lucifer. Yeah,
but she's not. She's in a lot of comedy as well. So she's a very comedic actress.
Lucifer is very comedic. Lucifer,
yeah. And then obviously, Jolo Truglio. I can never pronounce his name.
Jolo Truglio.
Yeah. Boyle. And you're right. I couldn't get. It's my fault. It's his fault for being so good in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like I struggled to not see him as Boyle. But
when he was on fire, he was all Boyle. When he was on fire,
Boyle.
That whole reaction was all Boyle. Yeah.
But
hard Boyle.
I thought it was I thought it was good that they used the Orion, like they had a low stakes villain against these fantastical sort of conceits. So like I get all of it. Like I was like, okay, no, this is working for me. Like I understand the reason we're doing this, because if you look at the story that's being told and the imagery that's being put forward, all of that all works for me. And I'm like, I can buy into it. This is fine. What I couldn't buy into though was it's all a dream. Like,
that ending.
That was literally like, just own it. Like, there's two ways you approach it. First of all, they actually had a really good moment where they're like, oh, we've got an explanation of how we're going to turn them back, and it's all good. And like, I'm like, cool. So that's perfect Star Trek. Round it up. This happened. It was silly. Great. We own it. It's done. And that would have been fine. Instead, they did this sort of like, oh, it was all a dream. Dallas was all a dream. And it really hacked me off, because the way that you do, if you wanted to do that, if they wanted that to be the way that they, like the Muppets were, like the puppets were, the crew became puppets, then set up it's a dream. And then people would buy into it more. Like, think some of the best episodes of Star Trek that happen in a dream state. Shades of Grey is not one of them. But, you know, think like Inner Light. Picard gets knocked out. We know it's all happening in his head, that it's a dream, but we still buy into it and we follow along. Think, the Deep Space Nine episode, Benny Russell. We know that is the prophets giving Cisco a vision. Even though that has a question mark at the end of it. Go into other shows like Buffy as well. Like, Buffy gets bit by a demon and potentially is hallucinating her entire life and stuff like that. Like, these episodes work. Like, you can be more fantastical in an episode if you go like, it's a dream, and it's fine to set it up at the beginning. Like, they could have shown that the transporter accident happens, Spock gets knocked out and somehow gets beamed back aboard the Enterprise, whatever, but we see that he's knocked out. And you can have like a bit halfway through where they go like, or like you can even have like a voiceover throughout the whole thing going like, we're losing him, whatever, but let people know it's a dream, and it would have been less of a FU when it actually happened.
Like, do we know for sure that it was a dream? Because there was an element for me that I thought T'Pring was actually messing with him.
No, I think I believe, I think it was a dream. So I'm just like,
well, I think it's one of those that it'll be like the next week, because it was like after the singing episode, there was a reference to the singing episode. The week later, it's like, oh, as long as we don't break out into song, blah, blah, blah. So it was like, okay, so that's sort of like referencing that. I know what you mean. Like, it wasn't set up that it was a dream and all of that. I thought it was, I didn't like the really sinister music as he was staring at the puppet at the end that was making it seem like more evil than it actually
I was expecting the puppet to come to life at the end there. Like, I was expecting it to do something, to move or whatever.
Well, I was expecting like T'Pring to do something to fuck with him or something like that. I did think that maybe, just maybe, that she was maybe messing with him a little bit, but it's still, I thought it was mildly Inceptionist.
Yeah. I just think like the worst sin of this episode wasn't that they got turned into puppets. I mean, if you got a problem with them turning into puppets, then you should have a problem with Rascals, and you should have a problem with One Tiny Ship, and you should have a problem with Triple Triples, and you should have like, there's so many other episodes that you can have problems with. I think like
Banner Moraine,
Alan Moraine, like Code of Honor, like Threshold. You should have a problem with Threshold. Yeah. There's so many of these episodes that you should have a problem with. I don't think them being puppets was an issue. I from a storytelling point of view, I was like, I get it. I get why they're using puppets. I understand all of this. And actually, throughout the episode, I actually think they did a pretty good job. Actually, a better job than some of the previous episodes of being like, this has happened because of X, Y, and Z. And, we're trying to do this X, Y, and Z. And so also Mbenga as a puppet attacking an Orion with knitting needles,
stabbing him with a knitting needle,
will live on forever in my head, like as a perfect moment.
Apart from like, I did feel that one of the other biggest sins of the episode was, if you're going to go for funny, write a funnier script.
Yeah, I think like
there was a lot of elements where I went, is this the best that you could come up with?
Well, so that's the thing, though. I think, like, fundamentally, it wasn't actually a bad episode. It wasn't a good episode either. It was fine. Like, it was like, I think it's one of these episodes that they go like, it wasn't even like it was a swing and a miss. It was just an episode that happened. Like, I don't feel like it wasn't
a disaster.
It wasn't a disaster at all. I think, like, as I said, I think they actually did a pretty good job of making an explanation of why they were puppets. I think they did a very good. I think they did a good job of playing the puppets and playing the scenario and using the ideas to tell Spock's story. And I think they did a good job with the Orions. And I think like all of that was fine. It's just, yeah, I think like the humor didn't quite land in places, as you say. I don't think it was as funny as it could have been. I think like it either had to be super funny or a little bit more serious. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Like, I think Rascals is like the conceit of Rascals is ridiculous. That they like, there's no way that like they should be turned into children. Like, really fundamentally, like it doesn't make sense. But it happens because transporter accident. So and that episode kind of plays it seriously with funny moments. And I feel like this episode for me, like, as I said, I buy into all. I think it's fine. I think like it's all right, but I don't feel they either should have been like a little bit more serious, and then if they played it more serious throughout, and then had this moment of ridiculousness with like the three puppets in that probably would have landed a lot better as a joke. Like, do you know what I mean? Like do you know what I mean? I feel like it just wasn't it was trying to play it too safe as an episode.
Well, it was also a bit mixed because it was like, when La'an and Una are trying to fight the Orions getting onto the bridge, they were completely weak and doing nothing. But then all of a sudden, they can fight people one-on-one.
Yeah.
It was inconsistent. It was like, oh no, now it's this. It was like, but actually, as long as they believe that they're puppets and that they can do whatever they want, then they can win. Like, which again, it was a bit wishy-washy in that respect. Obviously, yes, it looked very good. Like the puppets looked amazing. Fair play to the voice, like them doing voice acting and everything was really, really good. But yeah, it could have been a more classic, funny episode of just going like this. Oh, I'm so glad they did this because the musical episode, I adore the musical episode.
The crossover episode.
That. And the crossover episode, like when they have good joke writers or like good performers like Jack Quaid, who's good at improv and came up with a lot of Antonio Newsom, they came up, the Riker maneuver, like, come on, like all of that. Perfect. It just was lacking something, that puppet episode. But do you know what I really want? Just a regular episode at this point.
So this is an interesting thing that I've observed with a lot of people saying this, and you are getting regular episodes. What we're getting?
I'm getting filler episodes and shorts.
No, you're not.
That's what I feel like I'm getting.
You're getting the original series. You're getting the original series. Yeah, 100%. Because the original series was like every time I've seen an argument, like people mention this online, they list off TNG, DS9, and Voyager episodes.
I get what you're saying.
And I'm like,
TOS didn't do overarching storylines.
No, TOS was Theater of the Week, right?
Yes, it was. Yeah,
which meant that what they would do, and like it genre hopped a lot. Like you had, gangster episode, and they played it like gangsters. They had a Western, and yes, it was baked in science fiction, but like it was also like this episode's a drama, this episode's a comedy, this episode's whatever. But the idea being is like this is a self-contained story. We know our characters. The characters are set. Like there's no character development or growth. Like I just off camera there, I was before we started recording, I was telling you about my latest video that I'm doing, which is what are the best character episodes for each character in each of the series that I'm doing. And so subscribe to me on YouTube to when that video drops in about a year's time. But I'm starting with the original series, and I've been watching so much of the original series to get these episodes, and like. Something that happens in one episode doesn't come back 10 episodes later. It doesn't come back in the next episode.
It comes back 20 years later in a film.
Yeah, exactly. The whole point is that each episode is a standalone story with a point, like, you know, obviously like a moral story or whatever, or some sort of commentary on life, or even some are just fun stories like the Trouble of Tribbles. What's the social commentary in the Trouble of Tribbles? What is the moral story in the Trouble of Tribbles? What is it? Don't poison grain. Don't trust.
No, isn't it like the same? It's like the Simpsons episode where he takes a frog to Australia. It's the same kind of thing, really, isn't it?
There's no real moral episode. There's no real sort of story in it. There's no real sort of political commentary on it. It's just a fun episode of Star Trek to watch, right? And there's a lot of episodes. Like, I think people remember The Guardian forever. You know, they remember Doomsday Machine, Tholian Web, these episodes. But there's a lot of forgettable episodes. There's a lot of episodes that are just silly fun. Mirror Mirror is a silly fun episode. Like, you know, it's and like, yes, obviously when TNG Deep Space Nine came on, they drew from the original series and picked stories to come back, like the Mirror Universe. Naked Time became Naked Now, all of these things. What we're seeing in this season of Strange New Worlds is that we're seeing theater of the week, and they are playing with different genres. And people go like, "Oh, it's gimmicky." Well, so was the original series. It was kind of gimmicky.
I'm not against gimmicky. I'm against high. Like it's very high gimmick every week at the moment.
I look at it, right, and I go, right, okay, that first opening episode was a great Star Trek episode. My problem was the predestination paradox. Like, you know, that I had a problem with that, but that's fine.
Oh, I've got something here for you for that. Oh my God, this is even worse. Do you want to hear how it gets worse?
Go on.
The Kelvin timeline shouldn't exist, because if Pike didn't go back in time and help the Martians, then how do they exist? I've broken him, everyone. He's broken. He's trying to work him out.
No, I'm trying to work a way out of it, but
he's trying to paradox his way out of it.
He can't, because unless there's an episode, there's an adventure missing in between Star Trek and Into Darkness. Well, no, because they can't, because Pike only has the ship for a Star Trek film, and then it becomes Kirk's ship, and then it becomes Pike's ship.
Is it established how long he's had the ship in the first Star Trek film?
This is very true. No, it is, because like it was Maiden Voyage.
It was Maiden Voyage. The new flagship.
Yeah. So there's no way that happening. There's no way, because he takes the ship back into darkness, but that is to do that mission. Oh my God.
The Kelvin timeline should not exist.
So the point
Nero
is,
Nero really fucked up. Nero just absolutely, he ruined everything.
Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is like that first episode felt like old school Star Trek. We spoke about it. We were like, this is a return to form, right? The second episode, the horror episode, listen, they leaned into horror tropes, but Star Trek has done horror before, and
I liked it. I liked it.
I liked it. You know, I liked it, and I don't like horror. Yeah. For me, the only gimmicky episodes have been the comedy ones, which are the Shore Leave episode and this Puppet episode. Those are the gimmicky ones. I wouldn't even say that the film noir one was gimmicky. As I said, I feel like that's an episode that I could have watched in the original series. Maybe they've used, but even then they explained why everything was black and white in a sciencey way.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like in Thor: Love and Thunder, where they go into the area of space where there's no color. So it's just like that.
And they used it well to have that moment where Uhura almost gave herself up. You know, it's like, what color are the trees? Green. How do you know that? Like that was actually brilliant, that little bit there. I thought that was really well done. So again, like, I don't think that was gimmicky, that episode, because I feel like it was an episode that we would have seen in the original series. I feel like I feel like people have like focused on like, oh, it's all just gimmicky, and then like not looked at what stories are being told in them. Like, they've missed the idea. Like, when this season was being released, like before the season was released, they were like, this is going to be a return to Star Trek of old, like proper Star Trek of old, where it's story of the week. And it really is. It really is. Like season 3, if you think about season 3 was a mishmash of story of the week, but with a big overarching story of this, the evil prison thing, and all of that.
Yeah. I think what I'm trying to say, sorry to interrupt you there, but I think what I'm trying to say is what I'd like is an episode that involves the whole crew.
Oh, yeah, fair.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we had that with the first episode, but the third episode was just like a three-hander with like just bookended with the crew, like at beginning and end. It was mainly a Ortegas and Scotty story with spatterings of other characters. The puppets was the puppets and Spock. Yes, it was the whole crew, but it still didn't really feel like
it was a Spock episode. It was a Spock.
It was a Spock episode. So it's just I'd like. I like the crew. I like the crew dynamic. I like them working together in certain ways. That's how I like. I'm not saying don't do any of these high concept episodes, but I am saying I would like just an episode where I get to see the crew being a crew.
So I mean, like the next episode, they've released the photos for the next episode, and it does look like it might be a bit more of a. Might be a bit more of a crew ensemble one. I don't know. Like it does mention sort of Spock, Chapel, and Scotty, but I think like we're seeing a lot of the other crew in it as well. They're even
Pike just not around anymore. Like fucking Anson Mount's just not doing any episodes. It just feels like he's not there.
Yeah. There's the episode, the photos as well. I've also got the Vulcan ensign is there as well, because what happened to her? She disappeared and then hasn't really done much. So I think. I think the next episode might be a bit more of an ensemble. We'll see. I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying when you say that. Like, yeah, I don't disagree with that. I would like to see, but like again, I'll push back and say Data's day.
Yeah. You know, but going back to another character that you just mentioned there, that new Vulcan ensign. I think can we now move on from we've got a new crew member and it's a Vulcan. Oh, and they're a bit difficult to work with. We've had that a fair few times now. We've had it with T'Pol. We had it with that character in Lower Decks. Now we've got it with this one. It's just we don't need it to be like, oh, we've got a new Vulcan. We're just gonna have to get used to them. Like,
I do get you. It is an overused trope in Star Trek that Vulcans are difficult to work with. I blame Enterprise. I actually blame Enterprise for it because Tuvok wasn't difficult. No,
he was.
But he wasn't
not with the captain, but with the rest of the crew.
But he wasn't. It wasn't the same trope. No,
it wasn't the same trope. But Tuvok, he was a.
But it was more of from a Starfleet officer point of view as opposed to he's a Vulcan point of view.
Yeah, not to a Vulcan point of view. Yeah, okay.
Whereas I think like Enterprise overplayed the Vulcans are difficult thing, which I get why they did, because obviously it was the early days of it was pre-Federation, so I totally get why they did it. But I feel like since then it's just like it became a thing. It became a thing. Yeah. Enterprise did it. Did Discovery do it? Was there any?
They sort of did it because Michael Burnham acted like a Vulcan. She wasn't, but she acted like one, and which made her difficult.
Lower Decks has done it. Strange New Worlds has done it. Prodigy did it as well.
Did they?
Yeah, okay. They've done it as well. So
we get it. Vulcans are like stern. Hey,
at least Picard did the twist of like this difficult Vulcan's actually a Romulan.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Oh dear, what happened to him? He was going to be he was in loads of stuff and then he disappeared. Everyone called him like the hot Vulcan or the hot Romulan. From the first series of Picard.
Well, that wasn't who I was talking about. It was the one who was she was pretending to be a Vulcan officer in Starfleet, and then she was the one who tried to
a Romulan. Yeah.
But yeah.
She was high up. Yes, now I remember.
But you are right. What did happen to him?
He was in a fair few things, and then he just vanished. Like,
just wasn't hot enough. That was it.
It's the vaccines.
Yeah, he was.
It was during lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he went from Romulan to Romulagon.
Oh dear, dude.
I don't even regret it, mate. I don't even regret it. That's the thing.
I've heard some offensive things in my time.
I don't even care. I don't even care at this point. Come at me. What are your thoughts like overall then of like this season?
I like it as a season, but I get what you're saying is that TOS used to be this kind of like thing of the week kind of thing. Listen to me and my words. But as I said, I miss, because Strange New World started as one thing and now it's like a completely different show.
I agree with that.
And I don't mind it evolving, but it feels like a completely different show. It feels like them doing specials as opposed to a series. It feels like a series of it's just and that's all kind of good, but it's not what the show started as and set itself up to be.
And again, like, I think this is the idea that they're not trying to do sort of modern storytelling of like overarching stories, massive character development. I mean, they are doing some character. I mean, obviously Scotty and Ortega's, look at that, they're friends now. But
I feel like they're getting somewhere with Mbenga. Like, we're getting to the point where he's not going to be the chief medical officer anymore.
But like, they're not doing the same sort of level of like character development that, say, well, Deep Space Nine had or Voyager had or whatever. It's very much like, here's a story, done. And I think that's it's really funny, because it's like it just shows, you know, fans are like, I just want episodic storytelling like old Star Trek. Here we are, and we're all getting angry about it again because
no, but at the same time, like, yeah, I like the, as I say, the gangster episode.
No, I know you're saying
very Star Trek.
Yeah,
as I say, the puppet episode I think may have been a little more than a toe over the line, in terms of just a little bit, in terms of, because look, and I've said this before, and I get your pushback to me. Then you do still have fans, and I'm not saying that you should do everything to service them, but do remember that they are there. And we're not all the toxic masculinity type. We're not. Sometimes we do just want, you know.
Yeah, 100%. And like, it's fair to have. It's fair to have criticisms, and it's fair to not enjoy what's being put out there and have your own criticisms.
Yeah,
and that.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
That's fair. Just like, you know, I think what I see a lot of is the real fans chat, and I hate that, and I hate it from both sides, where people are like, if you don't enjoy it, you're not a real fan. If you hate it, you're a real. If you don't hate it, you're not a real fan. I hate all that chat.
Oh no, absolutely. There's no gatekeeping.
I can't stand that. Like, if you like Star Trek, whatever episode or whatever movie, whatever form of it you like Star Trek. Done.
I like Faith of the Heart.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I love Starfleet Academy. So
I like Starfleet Academy.
Yeah, exactly. So the point is, it's like, I think there's like, my beef is that, there's a lot of that chatter going on. I just find, as I say, I find it funny. I'm watching this going like, and I think this comes from the fact that recently I have watched a lot of original series. I've probably watched recently so there were 78, 79 episodes of the original series, depending on who you talk to. And I have watched about 30 of them. Right. And not all the best ones, not all the hits. Like, you know, I've watched Doomsday Machine and Tholian Web and Balance of Terror.
Spock's Brain.
But I've watched Spock's Brain. I've watched Spectre of a Gun. I've watched Day of the Dove. I've watched episodes that you go like, oh, I'd forgotten that episode exists. Like, you know, like I didn't even know that episode exists, because a lot of fans our age in our area, we kind of know Star Trek, the original series, for the greatest hits and the movies, as opposed to knowing it inside out. And so for me, I'm watching this season of Strange New Worlds and I'm going like, oh, it's TOS on a massissive budget.
I totally get what you're saying. But that's not what Strange New Worlds started out.
No, and I agree with that. The promise of the first two seasons of Strange New World, I feel like the writer's strike for season 3 really did a number on the show, and it just hasn't recovered.
But it's such a shame, because we've only got, after this, we've got one more season left. It's only 6 episodes long.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of wrapping up to do. to set them up.
There's one theory that I've heard, and I quite like it though as well, is that at the end of this season, we'll find out that we're already on Talos.
Right. Okay.
And this season is Pike dying, and remembering his crew and adventures of his crew, but sort of and remembering all this stuff. Like,
you say we're going to see Melissa George again? Do you remember Melissa George? Listen, listeners, if you don't know who Melissa George was, she was like a lot of boys' crushes in the 90s, from Neighbours. No, and Home and Away. It was Home and Away, actually, wasn't it?
Yep.
But she played a character called Angel.
Yep.
In Home and Away, and she's now oh my god, I'm blanking on that woman's name, but the character's name of the woman on Talos.
Rena, I want to say.
Yeah, maybe I'll take your word for it. But we saw when they did that episode of Discovery, it was her, and it was like, oh my god, Melissa George is still acting. I'm so happy.
Yeah. So that's the theory. I don't hate it. I don't hate it as a theory, but at the same time, I'm like, as I say, at the same time, I'm also like, this season's pretty close to what original series Star Trek. So it's
that's fair.
I am with you as well, though. I would love to see a more straightforward episode. More straightforward sort of.
Just a crew episode. I want the crew being the crew.
But then again, like, as I said to you off camera before we start, like, if you watch the original series, it is really focused on 3 crew members, and that's it.
Yeah, but the show has evolved.
Yeah, and that's the fundamental thing as well. Is like, the show evolved from the original series into Next Generation, into Deep Space Nine, into Voyager, into Enterprise. It's always been an evolution, and like, Star Trek has to evolve with the times and change and do stuff. I think you're right. I do agree. Like, this is not the same show that it started off with. It's a completely different premise. As I said, I stand by my statement that season 3 and the writer's strike did a number on the show, and it hasn't quite recovered. But I do feel like whatever comes next, once the dust is settled on the merger between Paramount and Warner Brothers, it's not going to be Next Generation again. It's not going to be Deep Space Nine. It's not going to be Void. Those days are gone. Like, and the people clamoring for, like, we want 24, 22 episode seasons again. That's not happening because
too expensive.
First of all, too expensive. Second, and then they'll say, oh, well, then spread the budget out over those episodes. No. Do you actually know, like, if you per inflation cost, it was expensive. Like, it would still be expensive to make this. But the other thing as well is, a lot of actors don't want to tie themselves down for what would be like 8 months of filming a year, because they want to work on other projects, movies.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't just do a TV series now, back in the 90s and 80s, you just did a TV series and that was it. That was, you were set for life at that point.
You could do a TV show, and then you did and then if you were successful enough on the TV show, you could potentially get a movie and then start your movie career. But
Patrick Stewart was not playing Charles Xavier whilst making TNG.
No, exactly. And likewise, look at any show from the 80s, 90s, like, okay, even further back, 70s. Like, look at like Cheers of the 80s. Like, Ted Danson went on to do movies because of Cheers. Kelsey Grammer got movies because of Cheers and Frasier. Like, this is the thing. It's like, TV was, for some people, it was a jumping point into movies, and there were movie actors and there were TV actors, and that was it. But now the ground is the playing field has changed, and now movie actors are TV actors and TV actors are movie actors. You know, think of some of the great TV shows we get, like Slow Horses, and Gary Oldman is the lead of Slow Horses. Gary Oldman. Like,
Nicolas Cage is the lead of Spider-Man Noir TV series, but also he admitted he was just like, I don't do TV, I'm a movie guy. Like, but then he sort of saw the benefits of it. Was like, oh, actually, I think I could really get involved in this and enjoy it. Like, really, because it's not just doing, because you do more acting in a TV series than you do a movie, because you're doing something.
To ask someone like Nicolas Cage to commit to 8 months of shooting And like
Yeah,
also
not
like
gonna happen.
shooting 22 episodes a year was brutal as well, because they would write a bunch of scripts and then they would film them like back to back to back, sometimes overlapping,
Yeah.
rewriting, redoing. Sometimes
And the dialogue they had to learn as well was pretty like tech heavy, not easy
exactly.
to learn.
Like it's not that it's not about budget. That's not the issue. It's about asking actors and writers, and also like, and that's the thing. Studio writers don't exist anymore. Like they don't want to tie themselves down to one studio, because it's better to write for. It's better to have a show on Netflix, a show on Disney, a show on Paramount, a show. You know what I mean? Like to have fingers in many pies. Like it's so many. The TV landscape has completely transformed that we will never see
Absolutely
22 episodes again. Even sitcoms don't get 22 episodes anymore. Like it just doesn't happen. And like the only shows left now that are doing longer forms are legacy shows that are Grey's Anatomy is an example. So like Grey's Anatomy did 22 episodes. It continues to do so because it's a legacy show. The actors who are on there are very well paid and very
Only Sunny as well.
I think so, but look how long it's taken for them to put out seasons of Always Sunny.
Yeah, that's like 25 years.
Simpsons has reduced its season count, its episode count in seasons. Futurama has lower episode counts now per season. Like it's, and these are
Scrubs like reduced its seasons. Yeah.
Frasier, its comeback had lower episode counts. Like all of them. Ted Lasso was back in the day would have been a 24 episode series, but now it's like 10. And it's just it's the way it is, because actors don't want to commit to that length of time of filming because it doesn't pay well, because they've got other commitment. They want to work on other stuff as well. Writers, same thing. Directors, same thing. Nobody wants to do it. And it's costly to have studio space put up. Like the Star Trek set stayed up for years. Like Next Generation set stayed up for years. And then when it was struck down, some of it was remade into other sets for Deep Space Nine and for Voyager and stuff like that. Studio space is expensive now. They don't do that anymore. Like it's, I don't know. That's
what they were asking about, like if the Strange New World set was going to be torn down, or was it going to be kept up for potentially just doing a new original series with Kirk as captain. And that's what they were sort of waiting for, is just like, have the set's been destroyed or taken down? Because if not, that's kind of a good, oh no, I think they've been taken down.
So yeah, there you go. That's it. We're never going to see that again. And we are going to have to, like, whatever comes next in Star Trek after, that takeover's done, we're not getting TNG back. We're not getting Deep Space Nine back. We're not getting Voyager. It'll be something completely different. And from the rumors and whatever, it's probably going to be a movie franchise from now on.
Yeah, there's talk about they've got. I'm trying to remember who it was. They've got a good director who's working on something.
It's the guys who did Dungeons and Dragons that are.
Of course, yeah.
But the thing is, it's like the merger between these two studios is so expensive, and like there's so much debt that's going to be saddled. Like they have to make money quick, and the way to make money is not TV shows; it is to make blockbuster movies.
Yeah. But this merger still might not happen.
It still might not happen, and I hope it doesn't, because if it does,
no, I don't think so.
It's unhealthy for this monopoly to exist. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
I'd weirdly be happier if Netflix had got it, not Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Also, sell Star Trek.
Not Warner Brothers. Yeah. Paramount.
Sell Star Trek to Apple TV Plus. sell Star Trek to Apple TV. Have you watched Silo? It's amazing. Have you watched like? They can do For All Mankind. It's amazing. They know how to do sci-fi over there with a budget and actually still tell really good stories. So
there you go.
That's the final pitch for the podcast.
There we go. Well done, Rick. Well done.
Yeah, that's it. That is the end of the podcast. Hope you enjoyed listening to it. No doubt you've heard some stuff and you want to say something. Go on. Get into the comments now. Now is your chance. So if you're watching this on YouTube, get into the comments, say something. If you're listening on any of the podcast platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify has a comment feature. Use it. But also Message us on social media. You can find us. My handle is Rick Carranza on all social medias. Matt, you are Matt Blair Music on like Instagram and Threads.
Matt Blair Music on Instagram and Matt Blair UK on Twitch. Oh yeah, Threads Matt Blair Music as well.
So message us on there. Let us know what you think as well. If you've enjoyed listening, like this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, or subscribe on whatever podcast platform. We've got a favor to ask. Listen, we would love to have more people watching and listening to this podcast. And the way that's going to happen is you. You are the ones who can make that happen. All you have to do is, as I say, like, subscribe, leave a review if you're listening to the podcast, and share it with other people as well. So let's spread the love around. Spread the middle-aged men opinionated about things that they are nostalgic about all over the internet, because we don't have enough of that as far as I'm concerned.
No one gets to hear what we think.
Thanks for listening. Catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.